I never thought I'd be the kind of mother who'd send her daughter to prison. But then again, I never thought I'd have the kind of daughter who'd fake having breast cancer for 2.5 years just to fund her Instagram influencer lifestyle. The total? $347,000. Every cent of it carefully extracted from my retirement savings, my late mother's inheritance, and a second mortgage on the house my husband Gerald and I had spent 30 years paying off. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me start from the beginning. My daughter Melissa was always beautiful. Not in the quiet, understated way I was told I'd been in my youth, but in that modern, camera-ready way that makes people stop and stare. Tall, blonde, with her father's blue eyes and a smile that could sell anything. By the time she was 25, she'd already cycled through 3 careers: event planning, real estate, and something vague with social media that I never quite understood. She was 32 when she called me on that Tuesday afternoon in March. I was in my garden, pulling weeds from between the hostas, when my phone rang. Mom. Her voice was small, shaking. "I need to talk to you and Dad. Can you come over?" Gerald and I arrived at her apartment in Portland within the hour. She lived in one of those trendy neighborhoods where coffee costs $7 and everyone under 40 seems to be starting a podcast. Her apartment was tiny but impeccably decorated, all white furniture and gold accents that she was always posting about online. She was sitting on her cream-colored sofa when we walked in. Mascara streaked down her cheeks. Her roommate Emma, a quiet girl who worked at a hospital, handed her tissues and then quietly excused herself. "I went to the doctor last week," Melissa began, her voice barely above a whisper. "I found a lump." My heart stopped. Gerald reached for my hand. "They did a biopsy." She pulled out her phone, showing us what looked like medical documents. "It's breast cancer, Mom. Stage 2. The words that followed came in fragments. "Aggressive type. Needs immediate treatment. Chemotherapy. Double mastectomy." The doctors, she had a whole team now, apparently recommended a specialist program at a private clinic in Seattle. Her insurance, the basic plan she'd bought when she went freelance, covered almost nothing. "How much?" Gerald asked. "Ever practical, even in crisis." "The treatment plan they're recommending with the best surgeon, the targeted therapy drugs, the reconstructive surgery after one." She pulled up another document on her phone. "They're estimating around $250,000. Maybe more." I felt like I'd been punched. We had savings. Good savings. I'd inherited nearly $100,000 when my mother passed 2 years ago, money I'd planned to use to help Melissa buy her first house someday. We had our retirement accounts. But this kind of money, "We'll figure it out," I said immediately, pulling her into my arms. "Whatever it takes, baby. Whatever it takes." Gerald nodded, though I could see the worry creasing his forehead. "We'll talk to our financial advisor tomorrow. We can pull from the retirement accounts early, pay the penalty, take out a loan against the house if we need to." "I'm so sorry," Melissa sobbed into my shoulder. "I'm so sorry to do this to you." "Don't you dare apologize," I said fiercely. "You're our daughter. This is what parents do." Looking back now, I can see all the moments I should have questioned. But when your child tells you they're dying, your brain doesn't work the same way. Logic shuts down. All that matters is saving them. The first payment went out within a week. $50,000, wired to the Seattle Cancer Treatment Center. Melissa showed me the glossy brochures, the website with testimonials from grateful patients. She'd already had her first consultation, she said. Dr. Benjamin Chen, one of the top oncologists on the West Coast. He was confident they'd caught it early enough. "I start chemo next month," she told us over dinner at our house in Lake Oswego. She'd driven up from Portland, looking pale and drawn. "Dr. Chen wants to shrink the tumor first before surgery." She pushed her food around her plate. "I probably won't be able to eat much soon. The nausea, you know." Gerald squeezed her hand. My practical, stoic husband had tears in his eyes. "We're gonna beat this, honey. You're young and strong." Emma, her roommate, was wonderful through all of this. She'd bring Melissa to appointments when we couldn't make it, help her organize the mounting medical paperwork. She worked in hospital administration, Melissa explained, so she understood all the insurance jargon. The chemo started in April. Melissa called me after her first session, her voice weak. "It was awful, Mom. They pump you so full of poison. But Dr. Chen says it's working exactly as it should." 2 weeks later, her hair started falling out. She posted about it on Instagram, a brave, beautiful photo of her cutting it short before it all fell out. "Fighting the fight," the caption read, with a pink ribbon emoji. The comments flooded in. Hundreds of them. Thousands. Her follower count jumped from 8,000 to 30,000 practically overnight. "People are so kind," she told me, scrolling through the messages. Complete strangers sending me prayers and love. She started posting regularly about her cancer journey. Photos of her IV port, inspirational quotes over pictures of sunrises, mirror selfies showing her bald head, which she wore with stunning grace. Within 2 months, she had over 100,000 followers. "Some of them are asking how they can help financially," she mentioned one day. "There's this platform called GoFundMe. People are suggesting I start one." "Absolutely not," I said immediately. "We're handling the costs. You're our daughter." "I know, Mom. I just thought you and Dad are already doing so much. I feel so guilty." "Don't," I said firmly. But guilt was becoming my constant companion anyway. Guilt that I hadn't somehow prevented this. Guilt that we couldn't pay for everything without stress. Guilt that I sometimes felt exhausted by the endless doctor's appointments and insurance calls and medical bills. The bills came regularly. Always from the Seattle Cancer Treatment Center, always neatly itemized. Chemotherapy drugs, lab work, consultations, scans, each one running between $5,000 and $20,000. Insurance denied everything, just as Melissa had warned. We paid them all. By summer, we'd spent nearly $150,000. My mother's inheritance was gone. We'd taken out a home equity loan for $75,000. Gerald had to push back his retirement by at least 5 years. But Melissa was responding to treatment, Dr. Chen told her. The tumor was shrinking. There was real hope. It was Gerald who first said something was wrong. We were having dinner, just the two of us, a rare, quiet evening, when he set down his fork and looked at me with an expression I couldn't quite read. "I saw Melissa yesterday," he said carefully. "Downtown, near Pioneer Square." "Oh?" She didn't mention. "She was coming out of that expensive brunch place. The one that's always on Instagram. With a group of people. So? She's allowed to have friends, Gerald. The doctors say it's important to maintain social connections during treatment. She was drinking a mimosa," he said. "And she looked." He paused. "She looked healthy, Barbara. Really healthy. Her skin was glowing. She was laughing, animated. She didn't look like someone going through chemo." I felt a flash of anger. "What are you suggesting?" "I'm not suggesting anything. I'm just saying what I saw. Chemo affects everyone differently. You heard Dr. Chen. She's responding well to treatment. That means she'll have good days. On a Tuesday morning? Shouldn't she be at work? Or recovering from treatment? She works remotely now. You know that. She can make her own schedule." I stood up, clearing plates more forcefully than necessary. "I can't believe you're criticizing her for having one good day in the middle of this nightmare." Gerald held up his hands. "You're right. I'm sorry. He sighed. "Something felt off. That's all." But the seed was planted. Over the next few weeks, I started noticing things. Small things that individually meant nothing, but together formed a picture I didn't want to see. Melissa's Instagram posts became more frequent, more polished. Photos of her at trendy restaurants, weekend trips to wine country, a beach vacation in San Diego, always with the hashtag #LivingMyBestLife and #CancerWarrior and #Gratitude. "Don't you think she should be resting more?" Gerald asked one evening, showing me her latest post, a professional-looking photo shoot in what appeared to be a luxury hotel. "Everyone handles illness differently," I said. Maybe this is her way of coping, focusing on the positive. That hotel is $500 a night, Barbara. I looked it up. Maybe friends paid for it. A gift. People do that for cancer patients. But I started paying more attention. I noticed that Melissa's chemo days seemed conveniently scheduled around her social calendar. She'd have treatment on Monday, she'd tell us, and then by Thursday she'd be posting photos at a new art gallery opening or a rooftop bar. I called Emma one day, Melissa's roommate. Sweet, quiet Emma who'd been so supportive through everything. How's she really doing? I asked. When we're not around? Does she need more help with daily things? There was a pause on the line. She seems to be managing okay, Emma said carefully. She's out a lot, actually. Out? Like, leaving the apartment? Yeah. I mean, she has friends over sometimes. Parties, even. I don't know. I work nights sometimes, so I'm not always there. Parties. She was having parties while we drained our life savings for her cancer treatment. Emma, I said slowly, have you ever seen her medical equipment? The port for her chemo? The medications? Another pause. Longer this time. Mrs. Morrison, I don't want to. I mean, Melissa's your daughter. It's not my place to. Emma, please. I've never seen any medical equipment, she said quietly. No medications except regular over-the-counter stuff. And she's never once looked sick. Not really. Sometimes she won't eat much, says she's nauseous, but I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said anything. My hands were shaking when I hung up. No, 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 no. Emma was wrong. She had to be wrong. She worked night shifts. She wasn't around much. She simply hadn't seen. But I couldn't stop thinking about it. That night, while Gerald was asleep, I did something I'd never done before. I went through Melissa's Instagram account. Not just the curated posts she'd shared with me, but everything. Her stories, the people she tagged, the locations. There were hundreds of photos I'd never seen. Melissa at expensive restaurants, designer shopping bags in hand. Melissa at luxury spas. Melissa at a concert in Las Vegas, champagne in hand, surrounded by friends I didn't recognize. All posted on days she'd told me she was too sick to visit. One photo in particular made my stomach turn. It was from 3 weeks ago, tagged at a place called Azure Sky Lounge. Melissa was wearing a designer dress I'd never seen, her arm around a handsome man in an expensive suit. The caption, "Living my best life with my favorite person. Number blessed number. Luxury number. Goals." I clicked on the man's profile. His name was Tyler. Tyler Blackwood. His bio described him as a luxury lifestyle consultant and personal brand strategist. His feed was full of sponsored posts for watches, cars, and designer clothes. I scrolled back through Melissa's feed, looking for any mention of Tyler. There he was, appearing in photos going back almost 2 years, long before the cancer diagnosis. Before we'd started paying for treatment, my heart was racing. I opened my laptop and searched for Seattle Cancer Treatment Center. The website Melissa had shown me loaded immediately professional, legitimate looking, with testimonials and photos of state-of-the-art facilities. But something made me click on the Contact Us page. I called the number listed. "Thank you for calling Seattle Cancer Treatment Center," a cheerful voice answered. "How may I direct your call?" I need to verify treatment for a patient. My daughter, Melissa Morrison. "I'm sorry, ma'am, but I can't give out patient information without authorization. HIPAA regulations. You'd need to be listed on her release forms. I'm her mother. I've been paying for all her treatment." "Surely. I apologize, but I still can't. Can you at least tell me if Dr. Benjamin Chen works there? He's her oncologist." A pause. "One moment, please." I waited, my heart pounding so hard I could hear it in my ears. "Ma'am? We don't have a Dr. Benjamin Chen on staff. We have a Dr. Charles Chen in our radiology department, but he's not an oncologist." The phone nearly slipped from my hand. "Are you sure?" "Yes, ma'am. I'm looking at our directory right now. We have 3 oncologists on staff, and none of them are named Benjamin Chen." I thanked her and hung up, my mind racing. There had to be an explanation. Maybe Dr. Chen was affiliated with the center but not directly employed. Maybe he was a consultant. Maybe. I pulled up the bills. All the statements we'd been paying for months, each one carefully itemized, printed on official-looking letterhead. I looked at them differently now, really looked at them. The formatting was professional, but something was off. The language was slightly too formal, the medical terminology not quite right. And now that I was looking for it, I could see that the address at the bottom was a P.O. box, not a physical location. My hands shaking, I Googled the address anyway. It was a UPS store in downtown Seattle, a mailbox rental, not a medical facility. I spent the rest of that night going through everything: bank statements, credit card bills, transfer receipts. Every single payment we'd made, I traced back to its source. Every bill that had come from the Seattle Cancer Treatment Center had been mailed from that P.O. box. Then, I found it. Buried in Melissa's Instagram, in a story she'd posted 6 months ago that had since expired, but was still visible in her highlights, under memories. It was a screenshot of a text message conversation, quickly deleted but not before I captured it. The contact was saved as Emma Tour, but the message thread made it clear this wasn't Emma, the roommate. "Babe, the next invoice needs to be higher. Tell them the scans showed something new and they need additional targeted therapy. Won't they get suspicious? They're boomers, Ty. They barely understand how insurance works. My mom will pay anything if she thinks I'm dying. You're amazing. When this is all done, we're getting that place in Tulum. Already looking at properties." I sat there, staring at my laptop screen at 3 in the morning, feeling like the floor had dropped out from under me. My daughter, my beautiful, beloved daughter, had faked cancer. She'd fabricated an entire illness, complete with fake medical documents, a non-existent doctor, and monthly treatments that never happened. $347,000. Our retirement. My mother's inheritance. The home equity that was supposed to secure our old age. All of it funding a lie. Gerald found me there at dawn, still sitting at the kitchen table, surrounded by printed bank statements and Instagram screenshots. "Barbara? What's wrong? You look like you've seen a ghost." I couldn't speak. I just pushed the laptop toward him and watched as he read everything I'd found. I watched the color drain from his face. I watched his hands start to shake. I watched my strong, steady husband break down and cry. "She can't have," he kept saying. "Not Melissa. Not our daughter. There has to be some explanation." But there wasn't. We both knew it. All the signs we'd ignored, all the questions we'd swallowed, all the doubts we'd pushed aside because what parent wants to believe their child is capable of something so monstrous? "What do we do?" Gerald asked finally. I looked at him, and something cold and hard settled in my chest. Something that felt like clarity. "We get proof," I said. "Real proof. And then we make sure she faces consequences." We hired a private investigator. His name was Marcus Chen. Yes, ironically also a Chen. And he was expensive, but what was another few thousand at this point? Within a week, he'd confirmed everything. Melissa had never had cancer. She'd never even been to the Seattle Cancer Treatment Center, which was a real place but had never treated her. The bills were forgeries, created by Tyler Blackwood, who apparently specialized in helping social media influencers fake various crises for sympathy and donations. The Emma who'd texted Melissa was actually Tyler, saved under her roommate's name in case we ever saw the phone. The real Emma, Marcus discovered, had moved out 4 months ago after discovering the scam. Melissa had paid her $5,000 to keep quiet. Dr. Benjamin Chen didn't exist. The medical documents were templates downloaded from the internet. The photos of IVs and ports were stock images, carefully cropped and filtered. Even her hair loss had been fake expensive wigs and bald caps that she'd take off the moment she left our site. Every single donation from her followers, and there had been many, despite her telling us she hadn't set up a GoFundMe, had gone straight into an account she shared with Tyler. They'd raised over $80,000 from strangers who believed they were helping a brave young woman fight for her life. Marcus traced where our money had gone. Designer clothes, luxury hotels, a BMW, cryptocurrency investments, a down payment on a condo in Scottsdale that was listed under Tyler's LLC, bottles of champagne that cost more than my monthly grocery budget, first-class flights to Paris, Dubai, and Bali, all posted on her Instagram as bucket list trips, while I still can with cancer ribbons and crying face emojis. "There's more," Marcus said, showing me his final report. "Tyler has done this before. Different girlfriend, different illness. That time it was lupus. He got $80,000 from her family before they figured it out, but they never pressed charges, just wanted their daughter away from him. I felt physically ill. My daughter wasn't just a victim of this man's influence. She was a willing participant, an enthusiastic co-conspirator. This was calculated, planned, and executed over years." "What are you going to do?" Marcus asked. "I'm going to visit my daughter," I said. I went alone. Gerald wanted to come, but I needed to do this myself. I needed to look her in the eye and understand how the little girl I'd raised, the daughter I'd loved unconditionally, had become someone capable of this. I didn't call ahead. I used the key she'd given me for emergencies and let myself into her apartment at 2 o'clock on a Thursday afternoon. She was there, sitting on her cream-colored sofa, scrolling on her phone. Her hair, her real hair, long and blonde and perfectly healthy, was pulled back in a ponytail. She looked up when I walked in, and for a moment, I saw something like fear cross her face. Then she smiled. That beautiful smile that had gotten her everything she wanted her whole life. "Mom, what are you doing here? I thought I was coming to you guys for dinner Sunday." "Are you alone?" I asked, my voice surprisingly steady. "Yeah, Tyler's at the gym. Why?" I walked over and sat down in the chair across from her. I set my purse down carefully. Inside was every piece of evidence Marcus had gathered. Every lie, documented and proven. "How long did you think you could keep this going?" I asked. Her smile faltered. "What do you mean?" "The cancer, Melissa. The fake cancer. How long did you think you could keep lying to me?" The color drained from her face. For a moment, just a moment, I saw something real in her eyes, something like shame, but then it was gone, replaced by defensiveness. "I don't know what you're talking about." "Don't." My voice was sharp enough that she flinched. "Don't you dare lie to me anymore. I have proof, all of it. The fake medical bills, the non-existent doctor, Tyler's previous scams, the Instagram posts showing exactly how you spent our money. I know everything." She was silent for a long moment. Then, to my complete shock, she started to cry. "Mom, I'm so sorry. I never meant for it to go this far. It started as just Tyler said it would be easy money, just for a little while, and then $347,000, I said coldly. 2.5 years. That's not a little while, Melissa. I know. I wanted to tell you so many times, but I didn't know how to stop. You could have stopped by telling the truth." She was sobbing now, mascara running down her face just like it had that day she'd told me she was sick. But this time, I felt nothing, no sympathy, no urge to comfort her. This was just another performance. "What happens now?" she asked finally, her voice small. I stood up. "Now? Now you get to explain everything to the police, because I'm pressing charges. For fraud, for forgery, for theft, all of it." Her head snapped up. "You can't, Mom, I'm your daughter. You stopped being my daughter the moment you decided to fake dying to steal from me. But I'll go to jail." "Yes," I said simply. "You will, and so will Tyler." I walked toward the door, then turned back. "You know what the worst part is? If you'd actually had cancer, if you'd actually been sick, I would have given you everything anyway. Every single penny, without hesitation. That's what love is, Melissa. But you'll never understand that, will you?" I left her there, crying on her cream-colored sofa in her expensive apartment paid for with my retirement money. The legal process took 9 months. Tyler tried to run, made it as far as Mexico before he was extradited. Melissa got a lawyer who tried to argue she'd been manipulated, that Tyler was the real villain, that she was just a young woman who'd made poor choices. But the evidence was overwhelming. The text messages proved she'd been an equal partner. The Instagram posts showed her enjoying every minute of the deception. The fake medical documents had her signature on them. The GoFundMe she'd finally set up after telling us she wouldn't had been her idea, according to Tyler, though he tried to claim otherwise. In the end, Melissa pleaded guilty to multiple counts of fraud and theft. She was sentenced to 4 years in prison and ordered to pay full restitution. Tyler got 6 years. The money's mostly gone, of course. We recovered about $80,000 from various accounts before they could hide it all. The BMW was seized and sold. The condo in Scottsdale was never actually purchased, just a deposit that we got back. But the hundreds of thousands spent on fake champagne and real designer clothes and luxury hotel rooms, that's gone forever. Gerald and I will be working until we're 75 now. Maybe longer. We've sold the house, downsized to a condo. We don't take vacations anymore. We don't go out to eat. We're rebuilding, slowly, but we'll never recover what we lost. The Instagram account is gone now, deleted after the sentencing. But sometimes I still think about all those people who followed her cancer journey. All those strangers who sent prayers and love and money to someone who was lying to them. Did they ever find out the truth? Do they feel as foolish as I did? Melissa writes to me sometimes from prison. Long letters about how sorry she is, how she's changed, how she understands now what she did wrong. She wants me to visit. She wants me to forgive her. I haven't responded to a single letter. Gerald thinks I should, eventually. He says, she's still our daughter, that we'll regret cutting her off completely. Maybe he's right. Maybe someday I'll feel differently. But right now, when I think about my daughter, I don't see the little girl who used to pick dandelions from our yard and present them to me like they were roses. I don't see the teenager who called me crying after her first heartbreak. I don't even see the young woman who told me she had cancer and watched me break down in tears. I see someone who looked me in the eye for 2.5 years and lied about dying so she could buy designer handbags and bottle service at clubs I've never heard of. People ask me sometimes how I didn't see it, how a mother could be fooled so completely by her own child. The answer is simple, and it's the same answer that lets this kind of thing happen to families every day. I trusted her. I loved her. And I never imagined that someone I'd raised, someone I'd sacrificed everything for, would be capable of something so cruel. That's the real lesson here, the one I learned too late. Love makes you vulnerable, trust makes you blind. And sometimes, the people who know exactly how much you love them are the ones who'll hurt you the most. The garden outside my new condo is small, but I'm growing hostas again. They're resilient plants, hostas. They survive cold winters and come back every spring, no matter how badly damaged they were the season before. I'm trying to learn from them, trying to figure out how to survive this particular winter and come back whole. Some days are harder than others. Some days I think about those $347,000 and I can barely breathe from the anger. Some days I wonder if I failed as a mother, if there was something I did or didn't do that made Melissa think this was acceptable. But most days I just water my hostas and try not to think about anything at all. Gerald tells me it will get easier. That time heals. That maybe someday we'll rebuild our relationship with Melissa, though it will never be the same. Maybe he's right. He usually is. But right now, all I know is this. I spent 32 years raising a daughter. And in the end, I don't think I ever really knew her at all.